Right Honorable David Cameron, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, His Excellency Yai Boni, President of the Republic of Benin and Chairman of the African Union, His Excellency Meles Zenawi, Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia and Chairman of IGAD, His Excellency Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the UN, Dr. Jean Ping, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Heads of Delegations, ladies and gentlemen. I salute the Right Honorable Cameron for organizing this conference on Somalia and those who have made time to be here today. History has shown that a three-tiered approach is the correct way of handling African crises. The three tiers are internal stakeholders, the respective regional efforts, and the international partners. Where external forces usurp the role of solving African problems unilaterally, failure and catastrophe are almost assured. This is what happened in Congo in the 1960s, in Rwanda in the 1990s, and so on. Where Africans take the lead in partnership with others, the results are better. This is what happened with the independence of Mozambique, the independence of Zimbabwe, the independence of Namibia, the independence of Angola, and with majority rule in South Africa. Sometimes African regional efforts result in providing solutions. Example, the defeat of Idi Amin in 1979 in Uganda, the ending of genocide in Rwanda in 1994, the defeat of Mobutu in the DRC in the 1990s. In the decolonization of Southern Africa, Africa worked with the Soviet Union and China, as well as with liberals and leftists in the West. On the issue of Burundi, it was the internal stakeholders within the country, the regional effort, and the United Nations. It was the same packaging with respect to the problem of Sudan. I would like also to salute the financial and material contribution already made to AMISOM by our partners from outside the continent in the ongoing efforts in Somalia. This conference is therefore most timely. I am glad Mr. Cameron has invited all the legitimate stakeholders, the Somali Transitional Federal Government and other Somali regional authorities, IGAD, the African Union, those of us who are involved in Somalia, the African Union through its chairman, His Excellency the President of Benin, the African Union Commission, the chairman, Professor Jean Ping, and our partners from beyond the African continent. This is the type of packaging that is legitimate, credible, and effective. Coming to the Somali problem, I detect 5 points. First, the Somalis themselves have to understand that modern life demands that your economic interests cannot be taken care of in your village alone. The people in the villages of Somalia need the people of Mogadishu to buy their farm produce, and the people in the rural areas buy the shop products of the people of Mogadishu. I always like to use the example of Uganda to expose the bankruptcy of sectarianism in Africa. I come from a group known as Banyankore, one of those communities in Africa, all of whom produce milk and bananas. Since they produce similar products, they cannot buy from one another. It is the people of Kampala. Kampala is the seat of Uganda, those who have never heard of Uganda. It is the people of Kampala and other parts of Uganda that emancipate my tribe from poverty by buying what they produce. Not only do the Banyankwere need the whole of Uganda to buy their products in order for them to be prosperous, they need the whole of East Africa, they need the whole of Central Africa, they need the whole of Africa, and we are trying even to negotiate agreements of trade access with our partners abroad, where they can sell their products and get out of underdevelopment. A modern life requires specialization and exchange of products. We therefore need markets, we therefore need integration, we therefore need national unity in Somalia. However, number two, these markets cannot function if there is no security. This forms the second factor in the Somali problem. We should assist the Somali government to expel the chauvinists of Al-Shabaab from all the strategic areas of the Somali territory, if not from the Somali coast, if not from the whole territory of Somalia. Thirdly, sectarianism is reinforced by prolonged absence of a representative national government and institutions in Somalia. It is good that the Somalis in Djibouti, in the Kampala Accord, in Galloway, and other places have already agreed to end the transitional phase in August 2012 and have agreed to elect a representative or an accountable government, possibly using some crude formula, but a formula that will produce an accountable government. The need to establish an accountable government has the possibility of forcing factions, sectarian or otherwise, to work together, because no single clan can win national power by itself through a democratic election. Democracy, in whatever form, forces groups to seek alliances. To be a warlord, you do not need internal alliances. You cannot be a warlord you can be a warlord by depending on external sponsors. And this is part of the problem. We commend and encourage the Somali people on this path they have chosen. Fourthly, in my language, there is a saying which translates that you estimate that a starved man may die in 2 days, but he ends up dying in only 1 day. The starving people of Somalia must get relief. Africa and her partners were able to raise close to $350 million in a pledging conference in Addis Ababa last year. There is a need for the world to contribute more and promptly to this effort. Fifthly, there are elements of the infrastructure that may need to be repaired to enable her to come back to normalcy. Somalia needs assistance in this area as well. Finally, the piracy problem in Somali waters must get a solution. The main problem here is not in the ocean, but on land. It is because there is no control of the Somali coastline that the pirates use it as a springboard to attack the ships in the ocean and come back in safety to the uncontrolled coastline. Therefore, the durable answer to this problem is controlling the Somali mainland, or at least the coastline. This is where our efforts should be directed. The countries of Western Europe, the USA, China, Russia, and Brazil, by working closely with Africa, can open up new, huge possibilities for mankind. The population of Africa is now 1 billion people. Our population will be 3 billion people in 2075. The prosperity of Africa is growing. While the economies in the West have been having problems, the economies in Africa are continuing to grow, some of them growing very fast. If we work together, we shall be able to, at last, cause socio-economic transformation on a global scale. Unlike in the past, when there were only islands of prosperity in a few corners of the globe, while the rest of the world is inhabited by impoverished peoples. We call this phenomenon unbalanced development in the world. Let us build a middle class, skilled working class population on a global scale. I thank you very much.